Ed Martine.
The coolest and honestly most surreal parts of this job is that total strangers come up to me at the airport or at the grocery store or in Starbucks, and they start talking to me like we have been best friends forever. I love that connection. It feels like just honestly one of the raddest parts of this job. But what is such a trip, you guys, is the kinds of stories I hear in these interactions. Like, women tell me everything, and they ask me questions that are, gosh, so incredibly vulnerable. And we see this play out in the podcast hotline as well. Like, people call in and they ask these really vulnerable things. But I think you guys would be surprised to hear that one of the questions I get most often, I'm talking like in grocery aisle 7 at HEB or at gate 52 at LAX, is people telling me they have lost themselves. You wouldn't think that that would happen within the first 60 seconds of meeting someone, but I've had this experience again and again. Someone will come up and they'll make really quick chit chat, and it's like they have been waiting to tell someone this one thing. And the one thing is, I don't know who I am anymore. I have heard some version of this so many times you would not believe it. I know you would think it would be different things, but it really is that theme emerging again and again. And I'm sure I've talked about this over the years. I'm sure I've even shared with y'all that that is one of the questions I get. But I really wanted to do an episode for anybody who finds themselves in that place. What do you do if you're not going to run into me at the airport and I can't answer this question in real life? What do you do when you've lost yourself? Sometimes that happens when we're a new mom, right? And maybe we've been in survival mode for a couple of years, and in that survival mode, we lost who we were before. Or maybe you're listening to this and you've just gone through a really hard breakup, and you're trying to figure out who you are now that you're by yourself instead of being part of a couple. I've also heard this statement from people who have achieved everything they set out to achieve. They got everything they thought they wanted, and it still doesn't feel like they're living a life for themselves. The truth is, I have been there more than once. I know exactly what it feels like to look at your life, your beautiful kids, your amazing job, your routines, and wonder how I have disappeared into my own story. The feeling of losing yourself, it doesn't happen all at once. It's not like you wake up one day and you decide to stop being you. Losing ourselves happens in quiet. It's subtle. It's 1,000 little moments where you choose peace over truth, or obligation over authenticity, where you choose the path that's most comfortable or will ruffle the least amount of feathers. And you keep doing that again and again until one day you realize you are going through life on autopilot. So today's episode is for you, for all of us, really. For the woman who knows she's in there somewhere, but she doesn't know how to get back. I have said for years that it's not about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. Who do you want to be in this next iteration? That is such an essential part of personal development, is making it personal to you. But at the same time, as you build who you want to become, it's also about coming home. It's about who were you before you were theirs. What did you love when you were a little kid? What were you into in your early 20s? This episode isn't about finding yourself, because you're not lost, but you might be buried. The way back to you, it isn't through some big dramatic reinvention. It's through small, real, everyday choices that you can make that remind you who you are. So let's talk about it. Today, I'm going to share 9 things that you can do to rebuild yourself, one honest choice at a time. Okay, so number 1, stop running on autopilot. You cannot rebuild a life you're not present for. And if you are just going through the motions,
Thanks.